Welcome back to Rockit Garage, and on this episode we're going to be putting the El Camino in final prime. Yeah. So we've got Acme Finish 1 2K high build primer. This is a urethane primer, not a polyester like the super build. Oh, do I have enough sticks? Yes. Make sure it's mixed up. We put it on the shaker, so it's pretty good. This is a 4-to-1 to the 5. So on the last episode of the El Camino, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch that one after this one. And we did all the blocking with the polyester into 180. Did any extra body work that I needed to off camera. And that's kind of where we are right now. Luckily, I didn't have to spot prime anything, which was really nice. So we're just gonna go straight into final prime. And I finally got my paint gun holder set up. Here, let me use the thingy since it's there. And the gun we are using is a TCP Global. This is an old gun. I've had this thing for years. This is a 2.0 tip. A little bit bigger than you probably need on a 2K primer, but it's what I got. So I'm running what I brung. A 1.8 would probably be a little bit better, to be honest. You can see it's pretty late out, but we're gonna get this thing done tonight. Where am I at? Right here? I'm gonna have to flip y'all around. Y'all like that? I think it looks pretty good. Now this time around, we are doing the inside of the door jambs, getting everything finished up so we can move on to final sand and paint this thing. Still gotta do the roof and tailgate, but I'll do that later. One tip I have for everybody is try to spray the primer in the same way you're thinking about spraying the base and clear. That way when you get to actually painting the car, you have a really good formula of how to get around the car, what panels you need to spray first, where's the air flowing, things like that. So it'll be really good practice for when you actually paint the car. And for what this car is, it actually is turning out really nice. Again, this is not a show car. We didn't fix everything, but I wanted it mainly straight.
Don't forget that spot again, Brandon. Got it.
Moving on to the second coat. Get the door jambs underneath the door. Just trying to get everything that needs to be primed. I'd say overall this is a 5 out of 10. Not bad. It's not perfect, but it'll get the job done. Moving on to coat 3. Not too heavy on this urethane stuff because it will crack. Technical word would be shrinking. If you layer it up too much, it'll crack like the Sahara Desert or something. It's no bueno. You're gonna have to take it all off if that happens. I'm okay with this. A little wave in the fender. Top's pretty straight. Look at that. For the most part, this car's pretty straight now. Probably a couple spots, but you know what? For what this car is, you can't complain. Hood is pretty straight. Door jambs, I can't open the door, but door jambs are done. Fender jambs are done. The only thing left is the roof. I got a 180 that, but this roof is super straight. I think there's one dent like right here. Other than that, the roof is straight. I'm not gonna worry about some of this pitting because there's trim that goes all along right here. It's gonna hide that, so it's gonna save me some time just on the bodywork side of things. With all the trim that's on this car, it hides a lot of imperfections. But this side, pretty straight. Can't really tell in the video, but you get the idea. It's pretty straight. I just gotta finish blocking all this out so I can get this in poly, and then I'm gonna do 2K on this and the roof once that's sanded. In the meantime, before I get back onto bodywork, because I don't wanna be greasy and sanding at the same time, that's just kind of going backwards, and you're gonna have a lot of fisheyes and a lot of things to rework. So in the meantime, I'm gonna work on the engine and transmission. I'm gonna start this video installing the 4-speed, making this bell housing work. Ooh-wee. When I tell you this project's getting blown out of proportion, I'm not lying. So, we pulled the window, pulled the cowl vent cover, pulled all the trim, pulled the headliner because we're doing a headliner now, and we're gonna patch some of the floor, sound deaden it, put carpet in it, paint the dash to match the car because we weren't gonna do that at first, but I'm kind of glad we're gonna color match it because the blue would have been a little funky. But anyways, yeah, this is getting out of hand now. So along with the front windshield, we're doing the rear window and seals, the door seals, the channels, the felt, all that. And then the wind wings, gonna get those working again. Oh God, replace the glass. Pretty much every piece of rubber we can find for this car. And then I think that's it. We've got the back, oh God, tripping over everything. We've got the back trunk area jams, the bed jam, I don't know what you would call it. Trunk, tailgate, probably tailgate. Got the tailgate spot all jammed out. Like I keep saying, this car is not gonna be a show car, but this is where the scope creep comes in and we start doing things because we're there. We've got the inside of the tailgate done. I did not fix any of this rust that's gonna be under the tailgate panel. I did kill it, sprayed it down, and then primered it, but we're not gonna actually fix it. You're not gonna see it, so at least it's neutralized. But tailgate is looking good. I gotta pull this handle off and kind of redo it. But you can see we've got the outside of the tailgate in super build. Everything else besides the roof has been 2K'd, and it looks good. So it's stuff like this that makes projects just go over time and get carried away and trying to manage all of the projects I got going on. It's usually a pain, but it's stuff like this. I had to Dremel out those trim holes, the trim screw, that trim screw, like pretty much all this, every screw in this car, I've had to Dremel off and then grind out and then punch through. Anyways, I'm gonna get all of this kind of just scrubbed down and cleaned up along with this windshield. And then we will move on to the seat. I didn't videotape any of this because I didn't really expect to do this, and then I got behind on the carb rebuild, which is on the other video, and then I ended up pulling this. Anyways, doesn't matter. I'm behind. I know when to admit I am behind. I am behind on everything. It's cold. It's either too cold, too hot to be efficient, or things don't go the right way, parts don't work, and then we start doing more than we expected in the first place. This is not the normal steps that I would take in building a car. if I knew we were going this far, I would have gone this far from the beginning and not worried about engine, transmission, all the other weird things that I've been focused on. And I would have just stripped the car and then got everything in primer. You can see I dremeled those off, pulled the trim off. Now I just got to drill that flat and knock it through so we have the hole again. That trim, I need to start bagging screws so I don't lose them. Oh, what's that? That's the window. Yeah, I need to start bagging stuff. Unscrew. You could tell it's cold in here because I'm in my bibs and it's snowing outside. Come on. I think the truck will look better in the end going this far with it. The dash being the same color as the roof. The rest of the car being one color. All the trim being assembled, I think will make the car look better. Again, not a show car, but it'll be complete. Once again, we are going further than I originally intended, but got a radio, well, you know, one of those custom auto sound, vintage style, door panel stuff, steering knob, new taillights, headliner. We got an amp, some speakers. I don't know if we're going to use those speakers. And miscellaneous trim. Here's the windshield. I didn't really care if I broke it getting it out because it was already separating and it already had a crack. So I didn't really take my time getting it out. I just got it out the fastest way possible. But other than that, I don't think I want to do anything more to this car because I'm pretty wore out on this car. This is not what we originally thought we were going to be doing. And I would have done this car completely different if we were going this far from the beginning, which is, it happens, but yeah, it makes it very difficult to get anything done and finished because we keep tearing into it. So it feels like we don't get anywhere. Wow, that wind. As far as body work, the tailgate's done, the body is done. Tear the dash apart, and I might just seal that. I might just spray sealer and base over that. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Body work, engine and transmission are in. Now we're doing a stereo. Now we're doing all the windows. Now we're doing the interior. Now we're doing sound deadening. Anyways, this is a perfect example of project scope creep. You get into doing one thing, and then another, and then you might as well do the other thing because you're in there. And before you know it, you've gone really far on a project that was supposed to be a simple job. This car came in to do an engine and transmission swap, make it a 4-speed, just put a better engine in it, and get the brakes working. That's all it came in for. And this is where we're at. That's what I'm going to name this car, Project Scope Creep. Do I end this video here, or do I keep going? So here it is, Project Scope Creep, and the unending endeavors that we will inevitably probably fix or try to fix everything on this car. I know I didn't get as far on the bodywork as I wanted to just because of all the other little things, but we did get the tailgate and the trunk jam, I don't know what you want to call them, tailgate, the hole. We got those done, and I'm going to move on to the roof and the valances, and we'll be closer. We won't be ready, but we'll be closer. So on the next one, I got to think about that. So I don't know what the next video is on this car. It might be paint. It might be the first drive. It might be the interior. I don't know yet. But anyways, stay tuned for that one. Thanks for liking, subscribing, watching, commenting, doing all that type of stuff. This car will one day be done, and I will be happy that it all came together. That's all I'm going to say. One day. this will be done. See y'all.